Well, in the last 24, 48 hours, we've got a little bit of news, a little bit of a victory for Kohberger, but also the legal system in general, as Kohberger and his defense team have been granted access to the DNA findings, I guess you can say, the DNA discovery. Also, the FBI has went back to the Kohberger, to the King Road house. We're going to be talking about that. Richard Allen's case is pushed out for 10 months. Plus, I'm going to give you your dumbass comment of the day, as that's going to be a new segment on these videos, because I want to show you the people, some of the dumbass comments I get. Guys, I'm JB Gunner. This is Crime Time. Let's get on into it. Let's do it.
Bring it back.
What's going on, everybody? As you guys know, I'm JB Gunner, and this is Crime Time. Now, before we get started, let me first and foremost say thank you to everybody that supports the channel or any of my channels on any platform, regardless of the method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal. Guys, the truth is I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do if it wasn't for you, the Gun Squad. Appreciate you guys so much. If you too find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Show your boys some love. While you're down there, check out some of my other content. I got a gaming channel, live show channel where I go live every day, political channel if you're not a snowflake and you can handle a little bit of political debate, you guys can go check that out as well. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the story, because we got to talk about some shit. We definitely got to talk about some shit within the Bryan Kohberger and IDAHO 4. I do want to make a quick statement. I love it when I see other creators, by the way, kind of pander to their audience. And there's creators that have consistently used my ideas as topics, and for a long time they would show my channel and link my channel. But what happens is there are people come over here and they're like, I can't believe you would refer us to him. He's so vulgar. And so that creator then is put in a position, in a situation where that creator has to say, well, what do? I still want to use his ideas. I still want to give him credit. But I also don't want to trigger my audience who are, well, easily triggered. Yeah, I'm just saying, I noticed something today. I noticed someone took my idea, but for the first time ever, didn't link to my motherfucking YouTube page. Intriguing, interesting. Don't really care, but it is what it is. I'm just saying I noticed. I can't let my audience know that I'm dealing with. You ever like fucked a fat girl and you kind of hide her and you don't want to let your people, your boys know like you're fucking the fat girl? Just saying. Let's go ahead and get on into it. Let's do it. Guys, let's go ahead and get them motherfuckers over there on the True Crime Channel video. All right? Guys, Idaho murder suspects, Bryan Kohberger, he wins genealogy legal battle, as judge now finally allows his lawyers to review the evidence. About time. Here we are throughout all this time, and Bryan Kohberger and his defense team is finally getting to review the evidence against him in the discovery. The move, made in a 32-page filing, order filed in the 2nd District Court of Idaho, comes 9 months after Kohberger's defense waived his right to a speedy trial. Kohberger is seeking details about how the cops used investigative genetic genealogy to indict him, after he allegedly left a DNA-ridden knife, by the way, that also wasn't blood-soaked, tell that, at the scene. He was indicted by the Idaho grand jury, who heard the evidence against him in May, and evidence Kohberger's team will now have access to after the new ruling. I don't understand why this was an argument for so goddamn long. Like, why he couldn't get discovery for the very evidence against him in the case. You would think, because let me explain this to you. The process matters. The process matters. Like, look, man, the whole point, why the process matters is because you have to make sure certain things weren't planted or that the investigatory process was done correctly. You can't just have the police doing secret shit to connect you to a crime. There are rules to this shit. There are laws to this shit. A motherfucker has rights. And the truth of this is, You don't know if his Fourth Amendment right was violated. You don't know any of that. You don't know any of that. So my point here is that as the prosecutors, as the state of fucking Idaho, no, he hasn't had rights at all to without this thing. It is normal for him to be like, well, how did you get this? Because ultimately, regardless of whether he did it or didn't do it, he has a Fourth Amendment constitutional right to privacy. And if you violated that right by doing something underhanded to get information just so you can nail him to the wall without a warrant, then that destroys your case. You don't get to just walk around doing whatever you want because you're investigating something. You need a warrant to violate someone's Fourth Amendment rights. It's not that hard to understand. And we're going to talk about Indiana and Richard Allen and Delphi in a minute. Later on, Thomas. At the end of this video, at the end of this segment, because there's some fuckery going on there too. But there is an update with that case. We'll talk about that. The Idaho case is so fucked up, too many things hidden from the public or filings that don't make sense 100%. Forget, you know what, 49er, fuck what is being hidden from the public. I want to know why shit is being hidden from the defense. That is what discovery is. Why do you think discovery exists in court proceedings? And then I heard Ashley Bumfield come out here and say, they don't have to give you everything in discovery. That's what discovery is, you dummy. That is the purpose of discovery. So both sides or whatever can show what they have. You don't get to just keep shit and then pop it in the last minute. You have to give the defense a fair opportunity to defend shit. And also the process. Exactly, you can't defend yourself when you don't know what to defend against. They are making a mockery of the court system. The bottom line of this is Bryan Kohberger and the defense has a right to know if law and procedure was followed in order to find Bryan Kohberger's DNA. Because if it's not procedure and law and done, if it's not correctly done and they violated his Fourth Amendment right to do it, then the case is dismissed, period. I don't care if he killed 29 people. If you didn't follow the fucking procedure you're supposed to in our legal system, then you deserve to lose the case. And if that sets a murderer free, I'm good with that. Because I'm tired of these fucking cocksuckers, whether it be the FBI, whether it be the police, whether it be the court system. I am tired of them being corrupt. You have a fucking job. There is a procedure, and us here in America, we have constitutional rights. We're the greatest country in the world for that. Law is law. And if your job is to enforce the law, follow the law, then that's what we need to do. And if you, as a legal entity, as a legal system, do not have what it takes to convict Bryan Kohberger under the guise of the law, then you don't deserve the conviction. Then you don't deserve the conviction, period. But by them doing all this fuck shit, this is how OJ got off. OJ murdered the fuck out of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. But do you know what got OJ off? Because the fucking police didn't do things right and they were planting evidence and all kinds of shit. Instead, they wanted the conviction on OJ so bad, they fucked up the case and OJ walked. That is exactly, because let's just for a second act like Bryan Kohberger's guilty. You're going to risk this case and throw it away by potentially doing some shit that's fucked up? Didn't you learn your lesson with OJ? Because make no mistake about it, OJ killed the bitch. OJ killed the bitch. Now, did Bryan Kohberger? I don't know. But if he did, you're going to fuck it up, and you're going to fuck it up. by giving him a reason to win on appeal. So the judge has ordered, there's an order addressing the IgG DNA, an order for in-camera review. Cameras will be in the courtroom, they're going to do all that. But ultimately, the important part here is that Bryan Kohberger will have access to at least this information.
There's a little bit of other news as well when it came to this case today, and I want to tell you about that. It's a little
Here
bit
comes this
convoluted, so I'm
cunt.
going to try and make it as simple as possible. The judge did what some people think was give a gift to the defense.
So I'll give a gift to the defense by granting them discovery. You see the way this cunt looks? First of all, she's got a smug face. I would catch a domestic battery immediately. I couldn't live with this. I couldn't fuck this bitch. It wouldn't even work. First time she was just sitting there staring at me, looking up. No, I'm going to jail today. I'm on my way. Just go ahead and call him before this happens. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna work out.
Because the judge has said, regarding all that DNA technique that the prosecution's been using, I get it. I get it, defense attorneys. I get it, Bryan Kohberger. You want to peek in their file, and you think you deserve the discovery.
Can you believe this is the media? This woman just said, you think you deserve the discovery? Yeah. That's why they've had to file and ask for discovery 9 times. Can you believe the audacity of this bitch? She did it. You think you deserve discovery? Absolutely. It's part of the legal system. It's his right. That's why discovery exists. Jesus Christ.
Normally, that's not so unusual, but you don't get everything in an investigation.
Yes, you do.
In discovery, you don't get everything. You don't get every single police officer's notations in every book that they might have done an interview, right? You don't.
But they didn't ask for that. They wanted to know how the fuck you obtained his DNA. They wanted to know what led to the very thing that caused you to arrest Bryan Kohberger, and how'd you achieve it? How'd you get it? How did you get him and his private family's DNA? See, I hate the goddamn media.
You don't get everything.
Yes, you do.
And prosecutors are saying that's right. Our
And the prosecutor said, that's right. No, you lost, motherfucker.
DNA technique that we used, genealogy, you know, the good old 23andMe stuff, we didn't use it for any court stuff. We didn't use it for warrants. We didn't use.
You see this bitch? You know that 23andMe thing where we got your shit? We didn't mean to get it for court, dummy. What's so bad, bitch? You filed charges on me based on it.
Use it for anything where you deserve to see that work product. What we did was we figured out who his family was, and then we went and did good gumshoe policing. We collected their trash, and then we did the old swab of his cheek. And the swab...
Did you have the right to obtain his trash? Did you go onto his property to obtain the trash? Did you go on someone else's private property without permission to obtain the trash? He wants to know all of this shit, and he has a right to know all of this shit.
Bryan's cheek, the police say, matches that knife sheath at 1122 King Road. So what the prosecutors are saying is that you don't get to see every piece of work product. You don't get to see everything.
Yes, they do, if they question whether it is violating his Fourth Amendment.
Frankly, we don't think we need to share the genealogy with
you. Well, you do.
Because it was just it was like the lie detector test. It just led us to more information that we could investigate. Defense saying, nope, we want it all. And the judge is now saying,
he agrees.
Yeah, you know what, I'm going to take a look at that.
Right.
I think I'm going to go into chambers without all the cameras and everybody listening, and we're going to take a peek and see what they can and what they can't see.
Right.
So to figure that out and how that works, Dave Ehrenberg is with me. He's the state attorney for Palm Beach County. Dave, it's so cool to see how confusing. I just call it, DNA. But it is cool to see how this familial DNA has woven its way into American jurisprudence and become complicated. Do you see this as complicated, or do you just see this as placating the defense and moving on?
Actually, it's been going on for a while, but law enforcement hasn't wanted the public to glimpse behind the curtain because, number one, they don't want the public, when they sign on to these genealogical websites, 23andMe, for example, to not click the box allowing your information to become public, because law enforcement has been using this stuff to catch serial killers, cold cases, and if the word gets out that your information, your DNA, could be viewed by law enforcement, maybe people don't check that box, and then you can't crack these cases.
Right. You're admitting it yourself right there. That if people are unwillingly putting their DNA, knowing that, no, he just said it. He just said it. If word gets out to people that the police are going to have access to their DNA, maybe they won't do it because they won't want their privacy violated. I want you to think about what he just said. He's saying, hey, if we let these people know their privacy is going to be violated, they won't do it. They won't do it. Well, no shit. That's why you got to let them know. They have a Fourth Amendment for a reason.
One of the reasons why the prosecutors did not want the defense lawyers to see all this stuff is because they don't want the cousin, the third cousin, or whoever the relative is of Bryan Kohberger to be harassed. And they don't want that person to be some red herring at trial. Aha, this is the real killer. He's got the DNA. And besides, what privacy interest, Ashley, does Bryan Kohberger have in the DNA of his second or third cousin? None.
So is this one of those things? There's a fancy expression in the law.
What's fancy?
It's called fruit of the poisonous tree.
Why is that fancy?
You do something that isn't quite right, and it leads to really good information in the case that could nail you to the cross. You all of a sudden can't use that because it was born from that poisonous tree. Is this one of those circumstances where there's familial genealogy that led them to Pennsylvania?
Yes, you dumb cunt. If you pull me over and search my car without a warrant, you dumb cunt, even if I got 12 kilos of cocaine, I go free because it was an illegal search and seizure, you dumb cunt. There is a procedure, a process. And if you don't believe me, how many people have gotten away with shit because the search and seizure was illegal? Unless they have probable cause. Exactly. The point here of this is there is a procedure you must follow. Period, man. And if you didn't follow it that way, at least the defense has the right to know, did you follow it or not? It's not that hard to understand. Everybody in the legal system has known this a long time. The bottom line of this is, if you find some shit on me through an illegal, you can't just come in my house and then be like, hey, he's got X, Y, Z, Z, whatever. You got to have probable cause and a warrant. Jesus Christ.
Pennsylvania, that led them to Bryan Kohberger's dad's house, that led them to believe we got a family member, and someone in this family member must have a white Elantra and, you know, fit the bill, and there was Bryan Kohberger. Is it possible at all that all of this could be thrown out because of the poisonous tree? I don't think it's poisonous, but is it?
Yes.
Actually, that's what the defense...
And here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's poison or not. Bryan Kohberger in his defense has a right to know if it was poisonous.
That is like their only chance here, I think, because once they had the DNA swab of Kohberger's cheek, it was a match. And how did they get to that swab? Well, you laid it out correctly. They had to first get the DNA from the sheath of the knife. Then they ran it through the databases, and there was no criminal in their database on file that matched. So what they did was they took it to the genealogical database, and they found a relative, and they compared the relatives who owned a white Hyundai Elantra, and that's how they found Kohberger, and that's how they got the swab of his cheek. So if you could suppress the initial genealogical DNA, the thinking is everything else goes away as well. It's fruit of the poisonous tree. I think it's very unlikely this will work, but it's all they got.
So I just want to remind everybody.
It's worked a lot before, and it will probably work again.
That this is exactly what we're talking about. It's the K-bar knife. This is not the knife, obviously. I don't have the piece of evidence.
Well, no
here.
shit, you dumb cunt. So only his DNA goes to all this, not the other 3 unidentified males, huh? Not the 3 unidentified males, huh? That's just fucking awesome. You get some of these YouTubers, by the way. A little fella up down there in Florida says, remember the phone pings in the Bryan Kohberger PCA that showed him around 112, blah, 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 on 12 different occasions prior to the murders. Actually, it just shows him in the neighborhood because the phone pings cover 27 square mile radius. Now, you see how these people just kind of make up shit? Now sources tell me there's also video footage of a white Elantra parked in different locations around the home, seemingly observing the activities going on inside. He's cooked. So now there's video footage. Sources tell you that they now got video footage of Bryan Kohberger with binoculars and shit looking through the windows. Come on, man. Whatever. Guys, remember they wanted to tear down the house? FBI, I told you, you better not tear down the house. FBI visits scene of Idaho murders to construct exhibits and a physical model of the home where 4 students were murdered after suspect Bryan Kohberger's trial was delayed indefinitely. Investigators are returning to the house, which they did. Returning to the house where the murders happened in this past November, a statement from the University of Idaho stated. Photos snapped on King Road Tuesday showed the operation already underway, while a statement from the school revealed they were allowing it to take place. Well, thank you. Kohberger wins. Oh, I saw that. So the feds are returning back to construct a physical model of the house. And it said it could take months, but since the case was postponed indefinitely, they said now they can go do this. So I guess my question is if they think, why all this time later do you think it's important to get a model of the house, but you didn't 10, 11 months ago? Maybe this is exactly why the house shouldn't be torn down. But I guarantee you they'll do it. They'll tear it down before Bryan Kohberger goes to trial. That way Bryan Kohberger can't use it. Amid this delay, investigators now return to the home, which we just talked about. Let's go ahead and get here. We'll just do it this way.
Both. Bryan, we were just so incredibly close multiple times to that house coming down. I thought it was a mystery.
Biden's FBI, of course.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you said it, Ashley. The family trusted their guts. They have been fighting and fighting and fighting for this house not to be torn down. And all the experts on the case there in Idaho were telling them they were crazy. The prosecution signed off on the demolition. The defense signed off on the demolition. The University of Idaho has sure been in a hurry to tear that house down. Well, guess what? The house didn't get taken down right away, and there they were, back there today. You had the new video. We had exclusive video. It wasn't just a couple of FBI agents, Ashley, going in and out. It was an entire team. For whatever reason, they decided they needed to remap out the house to build this model that they planned to build. They had all.
So they're going to build a model to the house. So are they going to build, like... I'm curious why they didn't think about it. I assume they're going to do that for trial. Why not just use the actual house? How much money and effort is going to go into this model of the house? Is it what size is the model going to be? How long does it take to build a house? 6 months? 6 months to a year. So what about the model? Like, I'm curious, why not just leave the house here? Or is it, I guess I need to know the size of the model, but what's the purpose of the fucking model? And why is the FBI still involved? Why, this isn't a federal case. Why is the FBI still involved? I'm curious about this.
All sorts of specialized equipment out there today, 3D imaging machines. They had a drone up over the house. None of this would have been possible if the original plans had gone through. And you said it, it wasn't just one plan, it was over and over again that the university and the prosecution wanted to tear the house down. And thank goodness that the family, the Gonzalez family particularly, kept fighting, because obviously police found value in going back.
Well, there's a lot of people that said the house should be torn down. But there's a reason the school bought it and they want to tear it down real quick. Is because ultimately that's what this whole case is about, is the fact that the town of Moscow needs that school revenue. The school needs to keep going. They want to destroy the house so the memory of it doesn't exist. This is all one giant bullshit charade. This is all bullshit. At the end of the day, they want to get rid of the house. It's all about money, finances, corruption. That's what this whole thing is. And that is why they rushed to arrest Bryan Kohberger in the first place, with no real fucking evidence.
Back in the house today.
So Gigi, jump in on what Bryan just said. Obviously, they saw value in going back in. I don't understand how 12 months later
Exactly.
they can just now be seeing the value of going back in to take these measurements.
I actually agree with the
house has
bump
not
field this
changed.
time.
Everything is exactly the same, and there was meticulous investigation that went on for months.
Yeah, they did some measurements in that initial investigation, but the difference is that everything was still in the house. So what the FBI did, thank goodness they didn't tear it down. You can't put toothpaste back in a tube. Once it's down, it's down. But the house is empty at this point, and now you have this trial delayed indefinitely. These models take months to put together.
Yeah, no shit.
To get all the data analyzed. So the FBI thought it's a good time, with the trial being delayed, to go in there and do our Pharaoh scanning and get their own measurements separate from the initial investigation with the house being empty.
So why so long later? I don't understand.
Bryan, when I was reading the statement from Steve Gonzalez and Xana Kernodle's family, they released a joint statement.
Man, fuck 'em. Look, man. You see how this shit is, how goofy this case is, man? And it's not the only one. By the way, in case you don't know, Richard Allen's case has now been delayed by 10 months after his defense team withdrew from the case. Like, so now Allen has to sit there another fucking 10 months waiting on the Delphi case. A lot of crazy shit going on with this. And come to find out, the judge, the defense attorney, former defense attorney Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rozzi were ordered by the judge to cease work on Allen's case. Look at this, man. I've never seen this before in my life. The judge ordered Richard Allen's lawyers to quit. And now they delayed the trial by 10 months. Dog. That, I don't know what's going on with any of these cases, but this shit is getting out of hand, right? This shit is getting out of hand. I think both of these cases are being, there's something going on with both of these fucking cases. Good morning. The beautiful Shelly sent in $20. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you. I want to show you guys something else too. Actually, when it comes to these crime time videos, I'm going to start a new series where I'm just going to give these motherfuckers the dumbass This is why I despise the true crime community. The true crime community and their commenters, not all, because some of you guys came from there, but at least 60% of the commenters over there are fucking retarded. They're all fucking retarded. Why can't the feds hold Richard Allen if Indiana's so unsafe? Why you gotta be held in state prison? Yeah, in one of the worst prisons. So I'm gonna start doing this at the end of my crime time videos every fucking day. Because I want the audience to see how retarded some of these motherfuckers are. So see why I think most commenters are literally mentally retarded in the true crime community? At least 60% of the commenters look just like this. Wes Barnaby, 2553. This motherfucker says, the fraternity boys are an organization, very professional, and I believe they paid Bryan to take the fall. Of course, I said that sounds ridiculous. Why would someone take money to take a fall for 4 murders and then get a public defender? And let me say this to the dummies. Jackie came. You guys are the smart ones. That's why you're here. Why would Bryan Kohberger take money from the fraternity boys to take the death penalty? And then, by the way, he doesn't even use the money that he took to get a real lawyer. He had to get a public defender, Ann Taylor. This is the dumbassery in these people over there. I'm thinking about turning off my comments over there. Because I can't stand reading the bullshit. They're all, half of them are the dumbest people walking the planet. Bryan Kohberger got paid to take the fall. He got paid to get killed in a death penalty case? He's like, fuck it, I'll just get a public defender, even though I got paid to do this. And that's not all it. These people go on and on. He responds, obviously, you don't know the league system, and then you attack the victim and their THER family. That's his response to all that. Because I said, you sound crazy. Well, obviously, you don't know the league system when you attack the victim and their family. I said, could you please learn to spell and learn a little grammar? I'm struggling to read your comments. He's a dummy. And then, of course, we get goobers like this, Lisa Baker. Really, you do not have that many viewers now, so continue to do this and you won't have any. Lady, views mean nothing to me. You think I'm new to this shit? I've been here fucking 17 years. I've been doing the same shit for 17 years. I build a channel up, I lose it, I come back down. It doesn't matter, but I still pay my bills, as you see. You're going to lose it all, JB, if you keep on down this path. Bitch, I'm the only one that's been here 17 years. You're going to lose it all if you continue being the same JB that made this shit pop off for 17 years. They're so adorable. They're so adorable. They're so fucking adorable. Lisa has no subs, but her two shorts are dumb. So, yeah, she's just an idiot. We're one of the few, if only the death penalty qualified attorney in the state is from the same county as the victims. Yeah. So anyway, you see the kind of dumbass comments I receive over there. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Crime Time can go down right now and I'd still make the exact same amount of money and still be able to pay my bills exactly the same. You're going to lose all your Crime Time commenters, JB. Good. Fuck them. Fuck them. Right? And their goober fucking faces.